Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk to you today about a few things that are on my mind that about YouTube and about doing the pantry challenge, about my personal life, and so many other things, and about my experiences on YouTube. Yeah, it's mainly about YouTube. I'm in the kitchen because this is where we have the most light, and it's very early morning, and our lighting is not the best here in this house. I've been drinking some coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. If you're a coffee drinker, let me know. What kind of coffee do you drink? I love Colombian coffee. I get it from Aldi. That's where we get the best deals. Let me know where you get your coffee. So many things I want to chit chat to you about. This is a reality channel, and this is a vlog. And I would like a little interaction. Occasionally someone will comment, but it's not very often. So I just want to explain, yeah, I am a senior citizen, and that doesn't mean I feel like a senior citizen. And some of you that are watching this probably are too, senior citizens. We can still, do things that young people do. We can still, think in a young way and explore, the world on YouTube, or explore the world by studying on the internet, or just some of us travel. We do a lot of traveling. And that's what I always wanted to do. I wanted to travel. So, sometimes what we want to do and what we wanted to do when we were real young and what we do now, what we're doing now that we were older, we haven't experienced everything that we wanted to do, more or less. That's what I'm trying to say. And we've reached a pinnacle in our life past all these points in life we thought were big to-dos as we age. And I thought 40 was a big deal. And then all of a sudden 50 creeped up on me. Ooh. And I went through some stuff with that because of, well, most of us are women, right? Because of menopause. And then all of a sudden, in no time at all, 60. Oh my gosh. And a little arthritis set in, but it hasn't been that bad. And the way my mind operates, and maybe I'm not the most mature person in the world, but I still have young feelings. I still feel a lot like I did when I was younger. And what interests me, I still am interested in geography and traveling, and I want to do more of that. We were supposed to, but we had some things, personal issues come up that prevented that. That longing to travel is put on hold right now. But if you travel, let me know. I find that very fascinating, and I've always loved, since I was a young girl. I think I was about 11 or 12, maybe 10. I think it was 10. My grandmother found out that I enjoy geography. She bought me a globe for Christmas and an atlas, huge atlas book. I had those for years, and I devoured them and studied, all the regions of the world, all the 7 continents. And I just always wanted to go so many places and see other people of different ethnic backgrounds and how they live, and I was fascinated with farmers in the rice fields of China, for example. I've just always been amazed at the world that God has given us. And I still have those feelings, and I still daydream to this day. Pippi Longstocking, the book, children's book written by a Swedish author years ago. Lindström, I believe her name is Astrid Lindström. I believe that's her name. Yeah, an amazing writer. I devoured Pippi Longstocking books, and to this day, sometimes I'll think back. I would like to get a copy of Pippi in the Lost Seas. I just have these childhood thoughts that still come into my mind this day, and I don't feel like an old person. And I know so many of you that are in your 60s, maybe even 70s, and you don't feel old either. You still feel young, and you still want to do things that you did when you were a kid. But maybe you can't do it, or maybe you did do it. Maybe you did get out in the snow if you're in this part of the world, which you probably are. Most of us are Americans and Canadians, and the Australians, no, that won't be for a while, because you're experiencing just the opposite weather-wise. If this is the month of January, we go back. It's summer. You just started summer, right? In Australia. Amazing. Oh, I long for those warm summer days, even the spring days, the cool spring days working out in the yard. So many people around the world might be watching this, and maybe in India, and it's usually always hot there. But I love Indian food, for example. I like spicy food. My husband doesn't care for curry. He doesn't like cumin that well. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I love ethnic food, and ever since I was in elementary school, and we had International Day, and it was part of our studies in I think it was in the 5th grade. And our teacher said to bring a dish, an ethnic dish to school, and we would share it at lunchtime. We would have lunch in the classroom. And I said, Mom, what can I fix? And she said, I don't know. What do we have here? And she said, well, we have some rice and a little bit of spaghetti sauce. So we could put some chili powder on that and make some Spanish rice. I said, I love that, Mom. Great idea. So my mom and I made it together. And that was one of the first, besides cookies, we were always, every time she made cookies, we were right there, my sisters and I, to help with the cookies, the cookie baking. I think I only had one sister at that time, my oldest sister, because I have a younger sister also. No, she was a baby. She was a toddler then. Yeah, as I'm thinking back. Since then, I'm sharing that food in the classroom, the ethnic food. I don't remember what the other dishes were. Isn't that crazy? I think someone brought some kind of bean dish. It was mainly Mexican or Italian that we shared. I think they really didn't have, maybe both their parents worked or something, and the only thing they could bring were fortune cookies that someone had bought from Chinese food. Their parents had probably ordered Chinese food, and they had fortune cookies, and they shared that with us. And they had a whole bunch of them, so they must have, either that or they went to a store and they just bought a big bag of fortune cookies. And I remember eating a fortune cookie at the very end of the international lunch that we had in 5th grade. And I thought, oh, this is so cool. And I read my fortune, but I don't remember what it said. That was one of my fondest memories when we shared that International Day. And I got to taste some foods from around the world. I know there was a Japanese girl that I went to school with, and in fact, but she wasn't in my class. She was in my 4th grade class, that's right. So she wasn't in my classroom, so she would have put something out really good because she knew how to cook. And, her stepfather, he was in the Army, yeah, or in the reserves. He had been in the Army, and he was over in Japan, and that's where her mother met her stepfather. And they, after he left the Army, they came over to Columbus, Ohio. I think he may have had family that they stayed with, maybe his mother or something. And she had 2 little siblings. They were half Japanese and half American. So I guess it's Asian Americans. 2 little siblings that were in lower grades. And they were the sweetest kids. And she was very smart and intelligent. I remember her. Her name was, we called her Julie, because her name was, I believe it was Yuri. But she was really, really smart. And she said her father was Russian. She looked full Japanese. There's no doubt about that. And she was real good at sports, especially baseball. And I have very fond memories. And that is another thing that fascinated me, just getting to know her. And she lived not too far from where I lived also. So we became pretty good friends. She was real good at sports and real smart, made straight A's. I believe it was in the 4th grade. We were taking a test, and I had the right answer, but I had my doubts about it. And I'd never done that. This first and only time I ever copied from anyone. And I know it's cheating and I shouldn't have done it. I believe I was in the 4th grade. I was really young. And I looked over at her paper, and my teacher caught me and gave me an F on that paper automatically. And it turns out that was the only answer that Yuri got wrong. I put down an answer that was not right. My original answer was right. So, I cried and cried and cried. I had never copied after that. I never copied from someone's paper. I know it's cheating. And she felt so bad because I was crying, and She hugged me. Nice teachers, and we had mean teachers. And that was one that was not the nicest. Named Mrs. Duffy. And she was so hateful towards me. I had a speech impairment, and she didn't understand me. And she just felt I was different from other people, from other kids, like a misfit or something. And I didn't do anything. I just sat there. I was quiet all the time. I daydreamed a lot. I looked out the window. And she just didn't know what to do with me, I guess, because I didn't speak up like the other kids, like when we had to read out loud. And I didn't want to read out loud. I didn't want any kids laughing at me. And they didn't laugh that often, but occasionally, because I stuttered really bad. Anyway, she was talking about poetry, and she encouraged us to write poems. And it was for an essay in 3rd grade. And I went home, and I went into my bedroom, and I thought, what am I going to write about? And I was thinking ahead in the summertime, where we had this woods where we would go, and there's a creek, and there would be tadpoles you could look at. It was fascinating. And one time I saw a little tadpole had legs on it. That was almost going into summer, right before school ended. And I remembered that. And I wrote about the woods and water, a creek. I don't remember the poem because it was torn up and thrown away. I poured my heart into that poem. And she read it. She confronted me. Even the kids were right in front of the kids. She said, "You didn't write this. You copied it. You couldn't have written this." I said, "Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I wrote that. I came up with it on my own." She gave me a big fat F on the whole page, right in front of all the kids. And she said, "There's no way you could have written this. You had to have copied it and put your name on it." It was humiliating. I had never been so humiliated in my life. I told my mom about it. My mom said, "I'm going to have to talk to that teacher one of these days. She's being really mean to you." I said, "Yes, she is. She singles me out and shows nothing but hatred towards me. And the other kids, she treats them like they're gold because they're more outgoing than me. And she doesn't understand me for some reason." I said, "Mom, I'm so depressed. I don't even want to go to school because of her." And Mom said, "Well, hang in there. We'll see what happens." And I thought, what's the use? No one's going to believe me if I come up with any more poems. They're not going to believe that I wrote it. Later in the year, she was going to fail me. I didn't make good grades. My grades went downhill from there on. I was losing confidence, and it was towards the end of school anyway, but I thought, what's the use? If even trying. I just looked out the window and daydreamed. Oh, and I'm like, I wish I had my Pippi Longstocking book right now, because I don't want to listen to this teacher. I'm supposed to go on and pretend like it never happened. That poem was probably worth an A. She thought it was worthy because she thought an actual poet wrote it. She didn't research to try to find out. There was no way to go on the internet. Or if there had been an internet back then, there wasn't. She could have pulled up a few lines of that poem to find out if I copied it. I couldn't have copied it. I didn't even go to the library at that time. Very seldom did we go to the library. The Pippi Longstocking book I had, Mom bought it for me. Which that was a big splurge because Mom, we were a single family. We were a single income family. Now, this was back in the 70s. And way back in the 70s. Early 70s, in fact. And so I didn't have any way to copy that. I don't know what she thought. I guess she thought I went to the library and looked up poetry books. And so she was going to fail me. And I told my mom that, I'm probably going to fail and have to do third grade over again. My mom said, wait a minute, I'm going to talk to this teacher. So my mom and I met with the teacher after school. And the teacher said, I don't see any point in moving her on. She just is not doing her studies. She's not focusing. She's just not bright. And my mom said, well, I think she has more potential than that. And I think that she would benefit from summer school. And the teacher said, she can go to summer school if she wants, but I don't think it's going to do any good. I think she'll fail that too. It was so humiliating. My mom was, livid, but somehow my mom kept her temper down. Well, I think my daughter is better than that, and you need to treat her better. My mom did say that, and the teacher didn't say anything. She just had this appalled look on her face, and she wanted to end it right then and there. My mom was ready to take her one-on-one, take her on about that poem that she had given me an F on, poem that I wrote that she accused me of copying. And so my mom said, no, Terry, do you want to go to summer school? And I said, yes, I do, Mom. I want to give it a shot. I think I can pass summer school and move on to the 4th grade. And the teacher said, well, because my grades were right on the border between failing and a D, like a D minus. She said, well, I wasn't really failing anyway. I mean, I was barely making it with a D minus. And she's like, well, I remember her saying, well, I guess I'll approve it. I went to summer school. And the teacher I had, she was the nicest lady ever. And she was bright and bubbly, and just like she had love for everyone. And like she liked me. I thought, wow, here's a teacher that likes me. And I opened up. And there were some kids in the class that were kind of slow like me. And they opened up too, because the teacher, she knew how to treat us, and she knew how to give us special attention. Now I must say this was a very small class room of maybe 12 students. So the teacher was able to give more one-on-one, and that helped tremendously. I looked forward to going to summer school every day, and I passed with a C+. I did pretty well. I could have done a little bit better. And then 6th grade, and it was wonderful. Mr. Pry, he was an amazing teacher. He knew how to teach. He had a wonderful personality, and he approached each student one-on-one, and he just connected with everyone. And after that, I went to 7th grade. Something else happened. It was to do with students. The teachers were wonderful in junior high, but there was a student that gave me trouble. A bully. I'll go into that another time. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. My experience on YouTube. I used to be so shy, I could not even give a speech. I mean, I excelled in high school. I went from making C's and D's in the beginning of junior high. The end of junior high was 9th grade. Now, I know that's changed now. We have middle school, and 9th grade goes into high school. In 9th grade, that's when I got saved, right before the 9th grade. And the Lord inspired me, and I started excelling at my studies. I started making really good grades. They went up. They started going up. Not right away when I first started the 9th grade, but they improved as it went on. And also I had a weight problem, and I lost a lot of weight. There's one Bible verse that stuck with me. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And that verse just stayed with me. And through the 9th grade, not just through the 9th grade, but through all high school. And in the 10th grade, at Lyndon McKinley, some people say, well, it was an easy school, but I passed all the tests, everything, flying colors, straight A's. None of the teachers gave me any problems. After that, Mrs. Duffy never had a problem with the teacher. And my confidence kept moving up and up and up. Just that one teacher in summer school inspired me to move on and to excel. And being in church and getting saved really inspired me also to have confidence. But my confidence went downhill one time. in, in English class, English literature, in the 11th grade at Brookhaven High School. I was making straight A's and doing really well. Then I was still shy and bashful. I did not like to talk out loud in classroom or anything. That was the problem. Then my teacher, I can't remember his name, but he was a very nice gentleman with curly hair. he loved poetry, and he loved to talk about all the writers of yesterday. He gave us a report. He said we had to make oral reports. That means we had to more or less make a speech, do an oral essay out loud. Oh my. I was nervous as heck, and I thought, well, I'm going to do it I chose a history, one for a particular person from history. Like it could be a president or president's wife, or it could be just a famous person. And I chose Mary Todd Lincoln. Because I liked her personality, because she was bubbly, and from what I read and everything, and a character. And I wrote the report, just like a report, about her life and her experiences as the president's wife. And I thought, well, I'm going to present this. I was just going to read it. He said we could do that. We could just read it from this and kind of look up, and you don't have to memorize it. You can read the speech. What could have been so easy for me. I don't know what happened. I froze. I started stuttering. I couldn't read it. I mean, I barely read it. I couldn't look at anyone out in the classroom. I was so embarrassed and humiliated. No one laughed. No one laughed at me. There was one girl that she was like me, making really good grades. She refused to take the oral test. She was shy like I was, and she got an F on her test. He couldn't give me a very good grade. He gave me a D+. I had done so well. Of course I passed that grade, but to get a D+ on the oral report was very humiliating for me. But the kids were mature by then, and no one laughed at me or anything. I said, God, I don't know why I froze up, but I did. I froze up. I felt like a failure again. But I went to church 3 times a week, and I got back on track, and I started having some more confidence. I was still kind of withdrawn and shy, passive, introverted. It comes back all the time is what I'm trying to say. And I might have a stuttering problem. Might have a period where I don't know what to say, and I might pause for a long time because I don't want it to come out. Either it's going to come out real fast, or it's going to come out in a stutter. So I've got to be careful. Even sometimes it comes out in a way where it doesn't make any sense. Just words jumbled together that really do not connect, and people are like, what the heck is she talking about? So I just wanted to explain that. But the Lord has helped me through so much. Just staying on track and trusting in the Lord has helped me tremendously. I just want to encourage all of you, if you're new at YouTube and you're kind of shy about your speech, just to have confidence, to know that people out there understand. And there's lots of channels you can watch that will inspire you and help you to improve. And you can watch those channels and connect with people, as much as possible. I would like interaction and someone to make some comments about this and let me know how your childhood went. And did you have some ups and downs? We all do, and we all did, I'm sure. Maybe you're more outgoing, so you can't really relate, but maybe you're like me, withdrawn and shy, and you kind of understand what I'm talking about. What helped you get through that? What did a teacher help you, or did a teacher make it worse? Most teachers are very helpful. I just want to say that I found out, I went into I went into YouTube. See, this was what I was supposed to talk about, YouTube. All right, I got off track because I had something on my mind I wanted to share that was from the past. Oh, okay. I went into analytics and I wanted to go into my settings. It was very difficult on a smartphone, but I finally got into the settings because what I wanted to set was there was something I wanted to set. I wanted to change it to make it private. Okay. And there's a reason for that. I happened to see how many channels I subscribed to since March of last year, and you wouldn't believe the number. And I can't believe it myself. The number of people that I subscribe to, it's amazing. It's amazing. It really is. We're talking 180. I subscribe to 180 channels. That's a lot of channels. So I'm a fan of so many. And I spent, even before March of last year, I was on YouTube a lot, I believe. So we're probably going back even before that. But I got into it real heavy, I think, in late winter of 2024. And I was watching some other channels before that, though, and enjoying every bit of it. I didn't even start my channel until March of last year. I was on a computer. You could not log into, you still cannot to this day because it's a Linux. You cannot log into Google, or Gmail or anything like that. So you cannot be a subscriber on YouTube. And I don't quite understand that. I was trying to find every way to log in because I was watching these channels, trying to give them likes. It didn't go through. I thought, what the heck? I found out later you have to be logged into your Google account. So I had a smartphone, and that one was not as good as the one I have now. And I logged in, and I could go back if I really liked a channel on the Linux computer. I watched it on the Linux computer, then I could go into my smartphone, log into my Gmail, or I was already logged in on Google, and I go to YouTube and pull up their site or their channel and like the video that I liked. On this kick, I was watching all kinds of videos and liking all kinds of videos. I like a lot of videos, but I don't just put it out there like. I listen to it. In fact, maybe I was naive. I was watching videos all the way through to the end. That's just how I am. I'm a conscientious person. I thought, well, in order to know if I like this, I probably should watch it all the way through. I was watching videos all the way through. I didn't think it was right to cut it off short. And then I got to the point where I was at least listening to half of it, or I was fast forwarding. But in the beginning, I listened to the whole thing, and some of them were so long. And I didn't understand about watch time or anything back then. But I ended up subscribing, and I just found out 180 channels I'm subscribed to. And mostly, we're talking family vlogs, cooking channels, and homesteading. And then some other channels too that I enjoy that talked about history or quiz, like mind quizzes, things like that. I like that also. Travel. I like to watch travel channels, but I subscribe to those type of channels. Okay. Then also the reactor channels. There's a few of those that I'm subscribed to. So I'm liking all these videos and spending hours and hours a day watching all these videos before I even started a channel. So it's out of consideration that I do watch most of the videos. So if you have a channel, let me know. I will watch your videos, and I'll give you more watch time than the average person on YouTube. I give you more watch time than the average viewer. So, okay, that being said, I don't get thumbs up very often, and it hurts. That's the feature I was going to turn off. Not turn off because you can't turn it off. I was going to keep it private. And I found everything under settings that you can possibly think of. And that I could not find. And if you know how to make the like button for your videos, if you know how to go into settings and turn that on private, let me know. Because I went into something that was supposed to be it, and it did not work. I ended up going incognito. Then I changed that. I would like some thumbs up if you like this video, and if you liked my other videos. I would appreciate it. I'm 62, so if you're my age, let's connect. Yeah, even if you're younger, let's connect. Because I feel I can connect with people of all different ages from all different countries, because I'm interested in people from around the world and all over the United States. If you're in a warmer state, right now. I'd love to be in a warmer state. You know, I want to connect. I love the South. I've been to New Orleans many, many, many times, and I love traveling. I want to get back to traveling one of these days because I am of the bohemian mindset, and I'm kind of a hippie, but in a good way, in a good way. I've never done drugs. I've never done any psychedelic drugs. I don't drink much wine anymore. I stay sober, and I'm a coffee drinker. Coffee's my thing. If you like to drink coffee, let me know, and let's connect. So, and if you want to talk about the experience I went through as a child, and maybe you went through something similar and you can sympathize with me, I'd love to hear about it. Give me thumbs up, people. And I try to express myself and let you know who I am. And I want to watch your channel. Let me know what your channel is. I'm going to check it out. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you on the next one.